Yeah, to begin with, do you want to just say what you were struggling with before and like what you had tried before?
Yeah, well, I like I say, I've never been a skinny minx, but say around the 40 mark or so, I just started putting on weight and didn't seem to have any control of it or whatsoever. And it just seemed to go up and up. Now slowly enough, but at the same, nothing I did seemed to make any difference. And when I tried to lose the weight, I really felt it failed because there was no big movement on the scales. And I've tried Weight Watchers, and I've tried, following the Operation Transformation Program, and NOM or NOOM, whatever you want to call it. And I've tried a lot of them, and I think I didn't have the faith in, when I wasn't seeing massive results on scales. I didn't have the faith in myself to keep going with it because, like they advocate like, meal swapping and all this kind of stuff that really just isn't sustainable for my life. And it took too much out of me to keep on that track when I wasn't seeing big results. So I think the big difference with your program is the one-to-one meetings, and that you assured me like £1 is more than enough. It's good progress. You have to go into calorie deficit, but it's sustainable calorie deficit. So yeah.
So did you find with the other programs that the meals they weren't fitting in with your lifestyle?
I always felt hungry and I felt deprived, and it was like I was separating in my mind good foods and bad foods, and it's like, oh, I can't have a biscuit, and when it was somebody's birthday, it depended. It depended. I really relied on willpower and motivation and sort of that sort of thing, and I felt if I wasn't doing it, it was a moral failure. Whereas this way of doing it is it's scientific, it's logical, and it's like, okay, this is the pace you go at. You don't be looking for like £7 in 1 week kind of nonsense or that kind of thing. It's just slow but sure, and it does come off slowly but surely, you know.
And how long were you struggling with your weight
I
before?
I would say I was struck from when it started. I'd say it started when I was about uh, I'd say I was struggling a good 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was it about working, when we had a chat, obviously, what made you decide? Because obviously you've tried a lot of things like most women out there have, so what was it that made you kind of go, okay, I have confidence in this, or
Well, number one, I was telling you that happens very slowly, and I was nearly saying to you, well, I'm not going to be any good at this, and you said to me, well, I've worked with lots of women in this situation, and it was like, yeah, so it was like that. It wasn't it had got to the stage where I felt this like, obviously if I was willing to log on and look for solutions, I obviously felt it was a problem in my life and something I couldn't manage by myself. So you give me the confidence that you're like, okay, we'll manage this. I've dealt with other people who have had the same thing, and we managed that. So I think that was the difference. And as well as that, the fact that you said like this is something for life. It's not like a fatty diet or anything like that. It's a way of relating to food. It's a way of eating. It's a way, and as well as that, there was no mad ingredients that you had to, I don't know, fly in from Hong Kong or someplace. It's all food I'm eating normally anyway. Just maybe, change it up a bit, and maybe lose a few things, put in a few other things. And I find it a very healthy way to eat.
Yeah. So do you feel, was it the one-to-one approach that you
Um,
found?
I think it was the one-to-one approach, and the just you're very practical and you're very logical, and it's not a judgment thing. And if like I remember 1 or 2 weeks, I was like, oh, I haven't lost the weight I wanted to lose or whatever, and you were like, no, no, it's fine. I've looked at your calories. It's fine, and it'll happen next week, and it did happen next week. So I think that I needed that. Somebody, it mightn't work for somebody else, but for me, that's what I needed.
Yeah, I know exactly where you're coming from.
Mm.
And how do you feel now with what you've achieved so far? I know you're still working towards some
Yeah.
more
Yeah,
goals.
no, I am. And as I say, for me, and as you explained to me, like it's slow and steady. I feel, as I said to you, I don't know, was it last week? I feel so much better in myself now, and that I have a handle on it, and that it's not about the number and the scales anymore. It's like, well, if I don't like that number, it's within my remit to change it. It'll not be next week or the week after, but slow but sure, and I'll get there.
So you feel like you have the confidence and the control over it now.
Yeah, and as well as that, it's not relying on willpower. It's not like, oh, how good can I be, or how much of a martyr can I be around food. It's like, you want it, have it, put it in your calories. It's all in your own control. Yeah, it's. I don't kind of say, for me anyway, it took the feeling of failure away from it, even though you should never feel like failure about it, but definitely, it yeah, it yeah, it took the judgment out of it or something. It's like, this is the logical way you do it, and this is logic. And okay, there are weeks that you may eat a bit more or eat a bit less, and you lose a bit or you gain. But like, all in all, it's a logical process. There doesn't need to be any emotion involved. There doesn't need to be any judgment involved. It is what it is, and
Mm-hmm.
that was very important for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So were you in the past kind of maybe being very hard on yourself if you
Got hard on myself. I think I was hard. I was very judgmental on myself, not very compassionate to myself. I felt if I didn't lose weight when I was putting in effort, I obviously wasn't. I was cutting myself in some way, or it. Yeah. I wasn't very compassionate, and I felt there was some trick or something that I was missing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. Okay, so you were putting in effort previously, but you weren't seeing the results.
No, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you feel that this is sustainable?
Definitely, I do. As I say, for weeks like this, I know I'm still keeping an eye on what I eat, so that if I went way over, I'd know to pull back a bit. So hopefully over the Christmas period, while I may have some days where I eat more than others, overall it'll not be too far off. So I'll not be left at the end of Christmas going, oh, what happened there? So I'll be able to keep an eye on it, and I find it sustainable.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of benefits have you noticed so far with the results that you've gotten so far?
For me, it's more to do with a mind shift. It's more to do with my attitude. It's my attitude towards myself. Um, yeah, it's yeah. I feel whether I am or not, I feel healthier. I suppose, like, and this sounds way more dramatic than it is, but I don't feel as much of a failure about the whole weight situation. It's not, again, it's not a judgment thing. It's not like being thin or whatever size your body is not a prize for how much you can deprive yourself. It's like, it's how you want to live your life. So I think for me, that's the biggest change. It's a bit of self-acceptance as well, and a bit of like, again, and it's something I'm only realizing towards the end of this process, is like, you know, like the what you weigh on the weighing scales or how your clothes fit you, it's only one unit of measurement. Oh, God, yeah, I don't know. I just find I think it's got me out of this diet mentality.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me that is the biggest change. That yeah, I'm not, and I suppose I didn't realize how much emotion was all, and judgment and self-worth and everything was all tied up in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you often see that at the end of makeover programs, or um when I pick on all the time, Operation Transformation, and they come out and say, wow, I feel fantastic, and you think, oh well, you shouldn't put so much value in, or so much emphasis on the way you look or whatever, but it does creep in you. It's the way it is. You don't even realize you're doing it. So
Yeah, and that can be very frustrating if you're, you know, trying to get to a certain number and you're not getting there as well. It's kind
mhm.
of a vicious cycle, almost, that diet
Yeah,
mentality.
yeah, and yeah, exactly. And as I say, now, you know, the way you'd read these statistics that, I don't know, a really high percentage of women have been on a diet all their life, and I think, well, I haven't been on a diet all my life. It's only every so often it'll get in my nerves and I want to do something about it. But actually, part of me has always been kind of stuck into it all the time, and I didn't
Mm,
realize it.
hmm
Stuck into this kind of thing of, you know, thin equals good, and oh, the more food you can do without, the more resilient you are, or the more willpower you have, or something like that. And yeah, yeah. So for me, that's the biggest difference. It's a mindset thing. Definitely the fact that I have lost weight and that my clothes fit me, and that I've gone down a size at least, if not more, and clothes that I had put away that just didn't fit me anymore now fit me. And that at no stage did I feel, oh my God, I could eat the leg of the chair, I'm so hungry. Or, you know, I think what happens is after a couple of weeks of depriving yourself, you go a bit crazy and say, give me 20 buns and I don't know, all the chips and everything else. So, you know,
Definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I mean, yeah, a lot of the women that I speak to would say that often the mindset has been sometimes the biggest change that they've kind of realized. And maybe when you know, in the beginning, it wouldn't be something that they would have even thought of that would change, you know, or that
Yeah,
needed to change.
yeah, definitely. I wouldn't have thought my mindset had anything to do with it. But it's very freeing. I, I can't explain it other than I feel free of my own self-judgment. Like if the weight goes on, well, it goes on because I ate too much calories, not because I'm a bad person, not because I have no willpower, not because I have some sort of bad metabolism. I just ate too many calories.
Hmm
You know, and you know what I mean? And so what? Big deal. Some weeks you will, some weeks you won't. So
hmm
yeah, that to me has been the biggest.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I will be able to carry that forward.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. And what would you say to anyone who might be watching this and is thinking about getting in touch, but naturally enough, sometimes there can be a bit of apprehension or fear even about taking that step?
Oh, absolutely. I can understand that because, like, even I was kind of like, am I making this into too much of a big deal? Should this not be something I should be able to do myself, right? And as you said at the beginning, you know, if you're signing up, you have to do the work yourself. No one else can do it for you. So you are doing it by yourself. But for me, the most important part of the program was the checking in and you talking to me about my mindset and saying to me, okay, didn't happen this week, or yay, go you, it did happen this week. And that, you know, that instead of wanting this big result, that yay, it happened this, and a pound is fine, it's brilliant. And as long as it's, you know, and the fact that we took the measurements in and the scales in when it didn't, if what happened the 1 or 2 weeks that was either that if I didn't get the weight loss I wanted, I got inch losses. And you know, so you had listen, stop thinking of the weighing scales as the barometer. There's so much more going on.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, and again, as you say at the beginning, I wouldn't have thought there was anything wrong with my mindset.
hmm Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of people sometimes are unaware.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all of the questions. Is there anything else that you think would be important for anyone watching this?
Um, well, I don't know what to say, only I feel great. I feel great. So, and like, you know, like say I had started the exercise program before I signed up to this and everything like that. And as you said at the beginning, I had lost pounds and everything else, and I was wondering what was happening and you helped me understand that. And yeah, I feel great, but I feel great because not because the numbers on the scales have changed. They have, but that's not the important thing. The important thing is I'm living my life. The food is fitting into my life rather than me making my life fitting around the food. And feeling bad if I have some birthday cake, or feeling bad if I go out with my friends and we have a few drinks. So I'm just, yeah. So I feel great. It's weight lifted off my back. I don't have to worry about it. If I'm not doing the weight loss thing this week, I'll do it next week. Or you know, it's a long haul. Yeah.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. So you've
Mm.
got that headspace now freed up,
Yeah.
which you probably need, because I'm sure all of us have so much going on in our lives
Oh
that
yeah. And it's like it's so freeing to think and say, you know, somebody says, "Oh, come and meet me after lunch." I don't think, "Oh, how many? Oh no, I can't have this." I had a cake on Monday, and I was at cake. It was for me to be Pringles. I had Pringles on Monday, so I can't go out and have dinner tonight. Whereas now, I'm like, yeah, I'll go and have dinner. I'll do whatever, and I'll worry about it tomorrow. Tomorrow's calories are tomorrow's calories,
Mhm.
or you know. So yeah, it's really freeing.
Mm. So it sounds like your whole relationship with food has actually kind of
Yeah,
changed.
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's my relationship with food, yeah, obviously has changed a bit, but it's more to do with the moral side of food or the emotional side of food or yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I suppose, yeah, food. Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
Bottom line anyway is you feel great, which
I
is
do, I do. I
the
feel
main
good.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. Yeah, well, I think that's everything. So
All right, Sinead, thanks a million. It's been oh, such cliche. It's been a journey, but it has.
yeah. No, it's been
Yeah,
it's been great.
yeah,
It's been a
yeah.
pleasure working with you as well.
You
Yeah.
too. I've learned so much about myself, and you know, and it's like you think the more information you have, the better prepared you are for these things. But sometimes I think, you know, strip it down to the simple things. I think,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's an ongoing journey always.
yeah. And thanks for holding my hand through the learning process and not letting me give up. Well, I wasn't going to give up, but you know, saying
Yeah.
it's fine, you're doing grand. You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, absolutely. Yeah. The whole kind of self-development, and it is kind of self-development, really, when you're working on your nutrition and your habits. But yeah, that never really ends. We're always working on ourselves in some way,
Mm. Oh yeah.
so it's I think, yeah, you've kind of, yeah, obviously your mindset has been a big one throughout this as well. And that'll only continue to improve now because you're aware of it as well.
Yeah, and stop the self-judgment, self-criticism, just like,
Mhm.
you know, it is what it is, you know? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, which is easier said than done, because that can be like a pattern of thinking,
absolutely.
like your thoughts are also habits, like your patterns of thought also become habits. So again, sometimes they're things that we're not actually aware of. We might be aware of our thought patterns,
Yeah,
so
and you know, I wasn't even aware that I was unaware of my thought patterns. I would have said, oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, that's all good. So I'll cut it here probably, and then
All
yeah.
right, all right, well, thanks a million, and
Yeah, no worries.
happy Christmas, and
Yeah,
all
you
up in the new year.
yeah, likewise. I'm sure we'll be in touch anyway, and let me know how you're getting on. I'd love to hear from you in the new year as well.
Yeah, great, yeah.
Yeah,
When I hit another milestone, if I haven't spent all my money buying new clothes.
yeah, that sounds good.
All right,
Perfect. Thanks
thanks.
a million,
All
Tracy.
right,
Take care.
bye. Bye bye.
Bye.